Greetings, Temple Beth Shalom. Rabbi Boxt here, back with my Torah portion of the week. This week we are still in the book of Numbers, Parashat B'haalot'cha, Numbers chapter 8, verses 1 through chapter 12, verses 16, and we are beginning the journey from Sinai. So the outline of this Torah portion, the first section is final ritual preparations, lighting the lamps of the lampstand, purifying, consecrating, and appointing the Levites, and celebrating the Passover offering and adding a Pesach Sheni, a second Passover, which we're going to cover in just a few moments. The second section is the Israelites' travel protocol, planning the travel protocol, leaving Sinai, inviting Hobab to accompany Israel, and beginning the journey with the ark. Who is Hobab, you may ask? Well, we'll talk about that as well. And the third section is Israelite challenges to Moses and God, complaining, as usual, craving meat, and criticizing Moses, Miriam, Aaron, and the Cushite woman. So let's begin with the final ritual preparations, celebrating the Passover offering and adding a second Passover. We are going to chapter 9, verse 1. And chapter 9, verse 1 talks about God speaking to Moses in Sinai on the first moon, of the second year following the Exodus from the land of Egypt. And God is talking about letting the Israelite people offer the sacrifice for Passover at its set time. You shall offer it on the 14th day of this month, at twilight at its set time. You shall offer it in accordance with all its rules and rites. So Moses follows the instructions and tells the Israelites what to do. And they offered the Passover sacrifices in the first month on the 14th day of the month at twilight in Sinai, in the wilderness of Sinai. But it continues, Vayehi anashim asher hayu temeim lenefesh adam veyo lachlu la'asot hapesach bayom hahu vayikrivu lifnei Moshe velifnei Aharon bayom hahu. But there were some householders who were impure by reason of a corpse and could not offer the Passover sacrifice on that day. Appearing that day, the same day before Moses and Aaron, those housekeepers said to him, "Impure though we are by reason of a corpse, why must we be debarred from presenting God's offerings at its set time with the rest of the Israelites?" So Moses said, "Hang on, let me go check with God." And Moses goes to check to God and tells God what happened. And then Adonai speaks to Moses in return, saying, Daber el b'nei Yisrael lemor ish ki hiyeh tameh lanefesh o baderech rechoka lachem o ledorotechem ve'asa pesach l'Adonai. Speak to the Israelite people, saying, when any of you or of your posterity who are defiled by a corpse or are on a long journey would offer a Passover sacrifice to Adonai, they shall offer it in the second month on the 14th day of the month at twilight. They shall eat with it unleavened bread and bitter herbs and so on and so forth. So therefore, that's why we have Pesach Sheni, in case a person is unable to perform the rituals and the rites because they are ritually impure or they're on a long journey and they're unable to be there. So that gives us Pesach Sheni. So now we're going to talk about who Hobab is. And for that we have to go to chapter 10, verse 29. And we'll find out who Hobab is. So, verse 28 says, such was the order of march of the Israelites as they marched troop by troop. And what we had just previously was telling us how the troops were supposed to march and in which order, and how they were supposed to go in reference to the tabernacle in the middle of the camp. Verse 29 says, Vayomer Moshe lechovav ben Reuel Hamidiani choten Moshe nis'im anachnu el hamakom asher amar Adonai oto eten lachem lecha itanu vehetavnu lach ki Adonai diber tov al Yisrael. Moses said to Hobab, son of Reuel the Midianite, Moses' father-in-law, We are setting out for the place of which Adonai has said, I will give it to you. Come with us, and we will be generous with you, for Adonai has promised to be generous to Israel. So there's some commentary on the bottom. It says, amid all the details of the journey, the Torah weaves in a human interest story. Here Moses addresses Hovav, the Midianite, who until now has been staying with the Israelites in the Sinai wilderness, asking him to accompany them on their continuing journey to the land of Israel. Hovav is either another name for Moses' father-in-law, Yitro, father of Tzipporah, or perhaps Moses' brother-in-law. Either way, it remains unclear what happens to Tzipporah, Moses' wife. So we have Hovav, a resident alien, if you will, living amongst the Israelites. And when he is offered the chance to go with them to Israel, to the Promised Land, his response was, I will not go, but will return to my native land. Please do not leave, and then Moses responded, please do not leave us, inasmuch as you know where we should camp in the wilderness and can be our guide. So if you come with us, we will extend to you the same bounty that Adonai grants us. And then he decides to go, Hovav decides to go with them. So that is Hovav is. That is who Hovav is, excuse me. So that is my Torah portion commentary for this week. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.